Hi guys, welcome back to Chilling with OG Clint, and today I have with me a friend, Philip.
Hi guys. Hi.
And today we're going to be talking about the recent Twitter ban in Nigeria. We're going to be giving our personal opinions on it, basically, um, saying all we know and all we feel about the situation, and just keeping you guys abreast of what has been happening so far with regards to the Twitter ban. Um, Philip here actually has a YouTube channel which I feel you guys should check out and subscribe to also. Name of his YouTube channel is
Billhansen.
Omi Billhansen. I'll just put it down there so you guys can subscribe, and it's also be in the description box so that you guys can check it out. So as you guys know, or as some of you may not know, I feel like he made like global news when Nigeria banned Twitter, and it's been crazy, to be honest. I remember when news came out that Nigeria was going to ban Twitter, I didn't believe it. I thought it was cap, honestly. I thought they were just joking, and I thought it was just going to be like a thing they would say and they'll not do, all those kind of things. And how Nigeria is, our government basically is to throw tantrums and not do anything. That was what I felt, but to my greatest surprise, it happened. And here's what caused the Twitter ban actually. Like on the 1st of June 2021, our president Muhammad Buhari tweeted our president he tweeted that I received daily security reports on the attacks on critical national infrastructure, and it is very clear that those behind them want this administration to fail. Whoever wants the destruction of the system will soon have the shock of their lives. We've given them enough time. And then he further went on to say that many of those misbehaving today are too young to be aware of the destruction and loss of lives that occurred during the Nigerian Civil War. Those of us in the fields for 30 months who went through the war will treat them in the language they understand. Now,
Wow.
this is the president of the giant of Africa. And this is somebody who was a former military general saying things like this. And I feel like tweeting something like this is very, very, very insensitive, with all due respect. Like, it's very insensitive from somebody who is the president of Nigeria. I mean, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this was this was a day after they had the Biafran fallen soldiers remembrance day. They had the remembrance day, and because of that I think there was some violence in some parts and all that. I'm not sure the whole story, but then I remember I saw a tweet where they said they burnt a newly constructed INEC office in one of the southeast states. I'm not very sure now, so I don't want to misquote, but then I'll try to check for the news or the tweet where they said that, and I'll put it also on the screen so you guys can see. And shortly after that, I saw this tweet from President Buhari, and I was like, what's he referring to? The main thing that really shocked me was, we'll treat them in a language that they understand. Because you refer to civil war and how people that are doing these things, like, they are too young to know what happened in the civil war and the kind of loss of lives that occurred, and then now you're like, we treat them in a language that they understand. Please, can we, like, I know it's a language that we understand, so can you make us understand it? Because I'm not getting the point. And then moving on from this tweet, Twitter just had to pull a Twitter and delete his tweet that day, and that was where all hell broke loose. I feel like in Nigeria they've just been looking for little things just to find and ban Twitter, or just to find and restrict our freedom of speech on Twitter, because I feel like Twitter is very, 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 very unfiltered. So this was just it. Like, when it happened, I was just waiting. I know something serious is going to come out of this, and boom, predictable enough as Nigerian government is, something big came out of it. They banned Twitter, and this was the tweet. You know the ironic thing? They actually banned Twitter on Twitter.
When I saw it, I was like, really?
It doesn't make sense. Like, you're announcing that you banned Twitter on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that doesn't make sense. And then they said the federal government has suspended indefinitely the operations of the microblogging and social networking service Twitter in Nigeria. The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, announced the suspension in a statement issued in Abuja on Friday, citing the persistent use of the platform for activities that are capable of undermining Nigeria's corporate existence. Now, let's be honest, please. Between that tweet that President Buhari put out, or the tweets that he put out, and Twitter removing that tweet, which one was more capable of actually, in their words, undermining Nigeria's corporate existence? Because to me, when you tweet something as insensitive as what he tweeted, like, that's the main thing that's going to cause issues. Like, bro, you cannot be gaslighting people. You're inciting people indirectly.
Inciting violence. Inciting so many.
Bro, resentment. It doesn't make sense. You already know that people are basically living on a hinge. Like, people are tired. People, like, there have been recent IPOB, all those things, and then even without the answers, like the IPOB guys, they've been saying since we want Biafra, blah 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 blah, and then you now come out and say this. Like, this is just, I just feel Nigeria doesn't learn from her mistakes, to be honest.
And I personally, I looked up to Buhari to be able to calm the issue instead of tweeting something as crazy as this.
Exactly. I feel like that's what a president should be able to do.
Yeah, people looked up to him as a president. He can't be tweeting things like this and expect to get away with it. Twitter is a social media. Everybody shares his or her opinion, and if it violates Twitter's rule and regulation, they would make him know, just like they did.
Exactly.
And they banned it, they deleted it immediately, and he just went ahead and said, okay, since this is the case, let's just get it out of our country. That's a violation of people's freedom, and that's not good.
Honestly, and it actually doesn't make sense. Why would you put out something like this as a president, and then when they caution you, instead of you to take, I feel like it's just ego at this point, to be honest. When they tell you, oh, this thing you put out wasn't right, and because of that, we're taking it out of our own platform. Like, it's not like it's a Nigerian platform, for God's sake. It's not a Nigerian platform that you'll be vexing that they took it off. It's their own platform. They can choose to remove whatever they want to. And then the next thing they go, man. Minister of, what's it called, Information, Lai Mohammed, the things he was saying that time before the ban was really weird, and I could not understand where it was coming from, because he was saying things like Twitter's activities in Nigeria are very suspect, blah blah blah. And I remember during the entire time how even Adamu Gaba was coming out to be saying a lot of unnecessary things, and it just not make sense to me. But here's the thing now. I feel like since this administration came in, this is the fastest policy that they've actually carried out.
Yes.
This is the fastest policy carried out.
I also thought of that. Personally. It just happened within few hours.
Within hours?
Millions of Nigerians could not use Twitter because of some tweet.
It was really crazy. I remember they announced it in the afternoon, and then I was like, like I said, I thought they were just throwing tantrum, but I thought it was just like normal, we'll make noise, nothing happens, or we'll set up committee, the committee, nobody will end up knowing what the committee is doing, and they're probably collecting salary for being a committee and all of that. But then by night time, I was just seeing everywhere, wow, they actually banned Twitter, stuff like that. And it was just really crazy because they didn't have to set up a committee. I remember when Nigerians were asking for 505 during the NSAS protest, they had to set up a committee to do this, to do that, to do this, to do that. Till today, we don't know what that committee is doing. Because where I live in Enugu, I still see SARS. I still see videos pop up on Instagram of SARS violating people. So please tell me, what is the committee doing? Because we ask for something, you guys not do it. But then when it's for them, they will quickly do it. Like within, I'm sure this thing happened within 12 hours, if I'm not mistaken. Because by like 12 a.m. the following day, I could not access Twitter. And it was just crazy. But then, here's the ironic part of it. There was a tweet that resurfaced when all these things was happening of Buhari in 2015, where he tweeted saying that he said, "I thank those who passionately carried the campaign on social media. I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody. Hashtag New Nigeria." This is on the same platform that he banned, and he was thanking people for carrying out a campaign on social media. Now, it's 2021. Fast forward, 6 years later, and you can no longer take the smoke. You can no longer deal with the same social media that you were praising, simply because, in my opinion, I feel they did the right thing by taking off that particular tweet that was harmful to Nigeria's peace. Like, it did not make any sense to me, to be honest.
Economically, it's harmful to Nigeria. In terms of freedom, it's also harmful. It's entirely crazy, and I think that the president made a very rash decision. And his advisors, whoever advised him to do sort of thing like this, it's a rash one.
I feel like they're heavily misinformed, and it generally just sends a bad message to like foreign investors. Because right now, Twitter itself has even moved their headquarters to Ghana. And I think they tweeted something saying, we moved our headquarters to Ghana, something about Ghana being a country that respects freedom of speech and all of that. And that's like shit. They're shading us. They're shading us in Nigeria. I mean, oftentimes we're always arguing Nigeria versus Ghana, which one is better, Nigerian jollof versus Ghana jollof, blah, 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 blah. But then, you guys are seeing it's not really about Nigeria versus Ghana jollof. There's actually more to it. Like, we may have better jollof than them, but then their policies seem to be better than ours because they're respecting freedom of speech. I don't know. We can learn one or two from them, or I don't know about you guys, but I feel like we can learn one or two from them. But honestly, okay, now, see the thing. Just a few days ago, I read that, or I saw a video where they said that they've set up a panel, a big committee, to discuss with Twitter over the suspension P. And I'm just like, when people ban this thing, people did not need to set up a committee to discuss with them. Like, do you see how we just act and ask questions later in this country? You banned it like quickly. You didn't ask questions. You didn't say, okay. I feel like if this country actually, like, if they were serious with their lives, they would have actually tried to engage in a dialogue, find out why it was deleted, know what's the next steps to take. Maybe they could have even find Twitter, gain some revenue from them. But then you just went ahead to ban them. Now you don't want to discuss the suspension by saying that you're setting up a committee. And I saw a couple of ministers and attorney generals there and all of that. And I'm just confused. Like, why is it that when it is not in their favor, they do not set up committees? But then, when it's not in their favor, they set up committees. And then when it is in their favor, they don't set up committees. Why didn't they set up a committee at first? Why is it now that it has to do with taking out the suspension or relieving the suspension? They're now talking about committees. To be honest, it doesn't make sense to me.
I feel it's just not right, and that this is not how a democratic country should operate. democracy is all about freedom, and people should be able to express themselves, their opinion, without fear of consequences like this. I mean, it's just still crazy to me to wake up in the morning and just realize that we don't have Twitter. Wow.
It's really crazy. And I understand that freedom of speech is not entirely absolute. It's not an absolute right. But then, where you're limiting it, it has to be for proper reasons. You cannot say you're limiting our freedom of speech because the president's insightful tweet was deleted. Come on, let's weigh this thing like on a rational scale. It doesn't make sense now. All these things that I just feel like if we're to move forward in this country, things like this just need to be addressed. Things like this need to stop, and all this unnecessary ego of we need to drop it. It's not healthy. Basically, it's not good for our mental health, and quite frankly for the mental health of the country if it has one, because it's completely unnecessary, to be honest. So this brings us to the end of this video, and I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and certainly if you did, give it a thumbs up, comment, share.
Like and comment.
Yeah, comment, share, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please don't stop watching this video without clicking the subscribe button. Also, subscribe to Philip's YouTube channel, Billhansen. I'm going to put it on the screen again, and I'm going to put it in the description box. So at this point, we're going to leave you guys, and we're going to say goodbye and good night, and keep chilling with OG Kings.
Bye.